Hello aspirants, I welcome you all to Daily Current Affairs Analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 24th of June 2025. Now displayed here are the list of articles that we are going to discuss today in our news article discussion. In this first article, we'll be discussing in detail about the robotaxis, what are the advantages of it, disadvantages of it, and what is teleoperation. In the second article, we'll be discussing about new concept, new study, finding of a new study when it comes to AMR, antimicrobial resistance. The third article will be discussing about what is blowout with a case study. In the fourth article, we'll be discussing about Adivasi identity in census, and in the final article, we'll be discussing in detail about foreign universities. So, without any delay, let us get into the first news article discussion. Now, look at this article. The title of the article reads, "What is Tesla's new robotaxi and how will it be controlled remotely?" So, from the title itself, we can understand that this article talks about robotaxis. Robotaxi is nothing but the combination of robot plus taxi. So, the usual taxis, it is actually manually guided by a person. It will be driven or drove by a person. Instead of human being driving it, the robot will be driving the taxi, so that the taxi driver is not required in this place. This is the first important thing. And these robots, it will be enabled with artificial intelligence. So there will be lidars, radars, which will be guiding the maneuver of this particular taxi. So this particular robotaxi, it has been deployed in Texas currently as a pilot project, and in the near future it can be deployed in different other regions. Also remember, the fare is very minimal, like $4.2 per ride. And the other important technology behind this robotaxi, for the successful running of this robotaxi, is this teleoperation. So what is this teleoperation? We shall look at that in this news article discussion. So what is this teleoperation? Teleoperation is nothing but remote control of a machine using wireless networks. See, even though these robotaxis, they have been deployed at different streets, when a passenger tries to access it, the passenger will be entering the place where they have to be dropped, and they will be charged at the end, right? This is how the actual robotaxis actually work. But in certain cases, the human's intervention is actually required. For example, in certain uncertain, several uncertain situations, or in certain emergency situations. So imagine the taxi has been struck, or the communication with the taxi has been cut down, or if the taxi is not controlled properly. So those kinds of uncertain situations, we require a human intervention, and that is provided by this teleoperation. So there will be hubs nearby. In these hubs there will be teleoperators. Just imagine, just know this difference. The teleoperators, they will not driving the taxi entirely. Okay, the taxi will be driven by the AI. However, in certain situations, human intervention is required, and only then the teleoperators will be guiding the particular taxi. So this operation, or the remote control of a particular machine using wireless network, is only called as this teleoperation. See, this particular teleoperation, it has been used by different companies like Waymo, Baidu, and now it is being used by Tesla. So what is the advantage of this particular teleoperation? First thing is safety net. It ensures human support in critical moment. And the second important thing is it helps in AI training, helps the AI to learn from the human decisions, to make the decisions even better in the future. And finally, it helps in soft launch, useful for trial phase in confined urban zones. See, while these human interventions are required only for the initial stages, with time, AI will be evolving itself by reading or learning from the human decisions, right? So after a point of time, these human intervention will not be required at all. So these are certain advantages. Now there are certain disadvantages. First thing is network reliability. What if the cellular signal is not too strong? So those kinds of things, we don't have the control over the situation, which can lead to any disaster. Secondly, human machine balance. There is over dependence on either can fail in edge cases. So this is actually a precaution. And the third thing is scalability. So since lot of robotaxis are there, the equal amount of teleoperators should be there also. That scalability is a issue here. And finally, there is legal vacuum. So this is a very new dimension of law where the law is not there, and regulations and rules should be made. So those legal vacuum is also a very big challenge. What if an accident happens in such kind of incidents? What is the penalty? What is the fine amount? So those kinds of things should be defined by the law. Now moving on, we shall see what is landscape, policy landscape when it comes to India. See, we don't have any specific law for the autonomous or remotely operated vehicles. But however, we have AVs. We encourage testing AVs through the draft motor vehicle amendment rules of 2022. However, this teleoperation, it remains undefined in our law. So moving on, here comes the question, what can be done? So first thing is we have to bring in a AV legislation, not only in India but also a standardized world wide proper regulations. Secondly, robust infrastructure that should roll out 5G, ultra low latency networks should be there. And thirdly, ethical AI regulation should be there. AV must follow principles of safety, non-discrimination and transparency. This is a very important thing. And fourthly, pilot testing. We have to bring in a lot of pilot testing in smart cities, and then only we have to think about scalability. And finally, the public-private collaboration. A lot of research and developments with startups should be encouraged, and academic institutions and big tech should be encouraged to reduce all the shortcomings. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember from this article. So based on the things we have discussed, I have framed a mains question for you. Let me read out the question. With reference to the use of teleoperation in autonomous vehicles, critically examine the technological and legal challenges in deploying robotaxis in Indian urban context. Suggest a policy reform framework to regulate and promote safe integration of teleoperation in smart mobility. So here, to answer this particular question, in the first place, you should know about what is this teleoperation. So learn that from our video, and you can write an answer and post it in the comment section so that we can review your answer as well as your peers can review it. With these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this article. This article talks about AMR. AMR can be expanded as antimicrobial resistance. So the article reads, a study has shown that the use of insect-based feed can be more cost effective because it provides better digestible protein than fish meal or soya bean based feeds, which is actually reducing AMR among the cattle. So this is a very important study that we have to learn about from the prelims perspective. Before that, we have to know about certain key facts. See, the antimicrobial resistance, or the AMR, it has been increasing among the animal farming due to excessive use of the antibodies. For example, over 50% of antibiotics is used in animal husbandry, and this is projected to reach 2 lakh tons by 2030, which is 53% increase since 2013. This is a very alarming data. You can quote this data in your mains paper as well. So what the article suggests is insect feed, they will bring better digestibility, which will reduce the AMR risk, and it will promote sustainable and eco-friendliness in the environment. So here comes the question, what is this AMR? From the name itself, we can understand what is the meaning of that particular word. Increase in the microbes which are resistant to antibiotics, antivirals and antifungals. See, any animal farming, if you take, they will be infested with bacteria, they will be infected with the virus, and they will be infected with fungi, right? So for all that, medicines will be provided in the form of antibacterial, antiviral, viral and antifungal. What happens over time is the microbes that are attacking the animal farming, they get modified themselves and they will be becoming more resistant to the antibodies. So what happens here, even more the higher dosage of antibodies or viral has been given, the microbe will be more resistant and it will not die. What happens ultimately, the mortality rate of the animal will be high, which will lead to lot of losses and spread of diseases. So this is a very important risk when we talk about antimicrobial resistance or AMR. So what is the major cause for this situation is the overuse or misuse in human as well as livestock. In India, it is among the top antibiotic consumers out there in India, and AMR could cause 10 million deaths per year by 2050. So this is actually a data. Okay, you can make note of this as well. So here comes the question, what can be done? So the article suggests, instead of relying on the fish meal or soya bean meal, they can rely on the insect based feed. So what is the source of these insect based feed is black soldier fly, then mealworm and crickets. So these worms, they provide high protein, especially high quality protein, and it is digestible, which provides a lot of energy against the AMR, to fight the AMR. So it will be supporting the gut health and lower the antibiotic need, indirectly reducing the risk of AMR. So it will not only help in the management of the animal husbandry, but also helps in environmental manage. For example, low land and water use and uses, and since it uses agri waste, it is actually a sustainable alternative and a cheaper alternative than the fish meal or the soya bean meal. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember from this particular article. So based on the things we have discussed, I have framed a prelims question for you. Let me read out the question. Consider the following alternatives to conventional livestock feed. See, in our country, we don't have proper livestock feed, which is a very important issue. So it can be asked in the preliminary question. That is why we have made this question. Here the correct answer for this particular question is option A, 1, 2, and 4 only. Here the soya bean meal, it is not a sustainable option, and that is why it is not in the answer list. So with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. This news article explains what is a blowout. So what is a blowout? It is nothing but a dangerous accident at a oil or a gas well when underground pressure forces gases or oil to escape uncontrollably. So this is what a blowout actually means. So this leads to fire, pollution, and serious safety risk. And the blowout, it occurs when key safety systems actually fails. Now here comes the question, what is the consequence of the blowouts? So the first is, it will have a immense impact on human. It can cause injuries, fatalities, as well as even forced evacuations until the area has been back to the normal. And secondly, environmental damage. It will lead to a lot of fire, toxic gas release, oil spills, polluting air, water, as well as soil. And there is a lot of economic loss because high cost from damage will be there, as well as the repair cost is also very high. The resources will be lost, firefighting and compensation is huge. And finally, operational disruptions. There will be halt in the exploration or the production. This will affect the energy supply for the subsequent areas. Now here there is a case study about a blowout which happened in Assam in 2021. This blowout happened on ONGC well in Assam's Sivasahar district. This particular incident happened due to excessive pressure in the underlying pipeline. So this led to uncontrolled gas release and led to evacuation of more than 1,500 residents in the region. Only after 9 days, the blowout has brought to control. So this is a very important case study. You can actually highlight in your answer. Now, based on the things I have discussed, I have framed a prelims question for you. Here, the correct answer for the particular question is option A, 1 and 2 only. Third statement is actually incorrect. Now, with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now, look at this article. The title of the article reads, Recognizing Adivasi Identity in the Census. So the article basically asks for a separate column for religious beliefs of Adivasis. So let us see certain important points from this particular article. Before that, let us understand about census. What is census? It is nothing but a survey that is conducted by the government to take the count of number of people or the total population in a given area. So this census not only counts the total population but also counts the religious demography as well as the belief demography. So this will be listing. They will be listing 6 major religions, which includes Hindu, Islam, Christian, Sikhism, Jainism, and Buddhism in our country. Along with that, there is a general other religious persuasion (OPR) column. So from this we can understand that the major 6 religions are enumerated separately, and there is a general section called ORP column. So in this ORP column only, the belief system of all the Adivasis has been enumerated, which is a very big unconstitutional thing as per this particular article. So on 2011, the ST population, which includes 10.43 crore, literally 8.6% of the population, but only 79 lakh registered under OPR. This shows identification. So this is the very particular issue of this particular article, and there is no distinct column exist for Adivasi faith like Sarna, Gond, or other animalistic nature worship based systems. See, these systems are there in our country, but our government, they are enumerating it under a very general category called other religious persuasions, and this is also leading to misidentification, which is a very big issue. Now moving on, this particular case scenario, it actually violates a lot of constitutional provisions. For example, Article 25, which is freedom of religion; Article 26, right to manage religious affairs; fifth and the sixth scheduled tribes rights in scheduled areas; and Article 371A, 371B, which is customary laws in Nagaland and Assam, where the tribal population is very huge. And even Jharkhand's 2020 Sarna Code resolution, it even demanded a separate religious code, which is not being approved by the central even today. So these are all very key issues highlighted by the article. First thing, there is no separate column that identifies the belief system of different Adivasis. Secondly, even if demand is made, it has not been recognized properly. So the author of the article tells that we have to use the upcoming 2027 census as a opportunity to clear all the historical errors. So this will give governmental recognition to all the faith that is actually there among the tribal community, as well as the right to be enumerated in the census. Which is a very constitutional right, will also be fulfilled. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember. So based on the things we have discussed, I have framed a prelims question for you. Let me read out the question. Here, 2 statements has been given. First statement says the Constitution of India guarantees cultural and religious protection to scheduled tribe under both Article 25 and 5th schedule. Second statement says recognition of a community as a scheduled tribe in India is solely determined by its religious affiliation and practices. What is the correct answer here? The correct answer is option A, 1 only. Obviously, the second statement is incorrect. So with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. The news is that UGC, University Grants Commission, has granted letter of intent to 5 different foreign universities to open their campuses in our country, India. For example, University of Southampton, Gurugram, to be located in Gurugram, then University of Liverpool to be located in Bangalore. So it is actually a part of National Education Policy, NEP 2020 reform. So from the mains perspective, let us understand certain key points given in the article. So let us start with the regulations when it comes to foreign universities. See, according to UGC regulations 2023, it allows up to 500 global universities to set up their campuses in India, especially only the topmost 500 global universities. And this actually, these universities, they have programs which should be focused on STEM, as well as management, as well as design. So the requirements for these universities include, first thing is it should be having the quality equivalent to home campuses. Secondly, a corpus of 50 crore rupees should be there, and there should be an independent governing body. Now, what are the positives of this particular decision taken by UGC, which is actually a reform of NEP? First thing is it will reduce a lot of brain drain and it will save foreign exchanges. See, when we talk about people going to abroad to learn a particular course, it is actually import of service, not export of service. It is actually import of service, which means we are paying a lot of money to the foreign company or a foreign university. So this will reduce. And the brain drain that is happening, the master brain, the youth brain, which should be useful for our country instead of any abroad country, the brain drain will be saved. Secondly, access to international degree at lower cost. So what if those courses are being placed in our country, their campuses are already in our country, which means we can attain the degree at a very lower cost in our convenience itself. So the affordability will increase and the accessibility will also increase. Thirdly, it will enhance research and academic collaboration. So it will help in lot of research and development, even for the startups or even for entrepreneurship. Fourthly, it will lead to job creation in education sector, very important thing, and it will position India as a global education hub. And finally, it will encourage private investment in the infrastructure when we invite a lot of global universities in our country. However, there are certain challenges. What are the challenges? Firstly, lack of regulatory clarity and autonomy issues. So, whenever a foreign campus is going to be established here, we have to strictly give the framework on how it will be regulated, that we have to work upon. Secondly, high cost may reduce access for weaker section. So, even though it might be affordable, however the weaker section cannot be able to afford it. So in those kinds of places, our government can give subsidies for the or scholarships based on merit for the weaker sections. Thirdly, potential brain drain of Indian faculty might happen. Fourthly, it will concerns over academic freedom. This is a very important thing. The freedom might be getting collapsed. And finally, infrastructure need rapid scaling. We have to increase the infrastructure that matches with the global standards. For that, we have to work a lot on the infrastructure, which is a very big challenge. So here comes the question, what can be done to make the process smoother? So first, as I said, we have to bring equity through scholarship and for free fee regulation. Secondly, we have to maintain academic freedom with national interest. For that, we can build, there will always be a governing body. We have to bring a smoother tie-up with that governing body to ease this academic freedom. Thirdly, we have to build a stronger accreditation and quality checks should be there. Fourthly, we have to encourage foreign Indian university partnership. This will encourage a lot of knowledge sharing as well as a lot of curriculum sharing. Apart from that, we have to strengthen infrastructure and faculty development, and finally we have to promote two-way student mobility. So these are all certain important things we have to focus upon. So based on the things we have discussed, I have created a question for you. Discuss the opportunities and challenges posed by the entry of foreign universities into the Indian higher education landscape. How can India ensure quality, inclusivity and sovereignty while implementing this policy under the NEP 2020? So it is actually a 10-marker question. You have to write answer for 150 words. You can write and post it in our comment section so that we can review your answer. So with this, we came to the end of the news article discussion. If you like the video, hit like to comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Now, thank you so much for listening.